Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast where I barely got through the intro without tripping over my words. This week we were going to do Eorzea, but Pagos going a little bit slower than initially anticipated, and we want to get that lore in our next Eorzea. So we're going to be looking at Pagos, how it's evolved over the last week, because this was something we said we wanted to see in last week's show. Also, the Moonfire Faire is live, and that's a little bit more of a discussion than I think we anticipated. And there's a bunch of other stuff we could cover if we really need to. There's stuff on the anniversary website, including the Tales from Stormblood, which we got the first one of, covering Yatsu in particular. And there's some other stuff. Plus, we'll have some memes on the show. But to do a show, we need some hosts. And I'm one of them, Michael Mr. Happy Poveromo. Of course, joining me is Sly, aka Slythefox, aka Sly, aka Greyfox, aka Eorzea's Nimble Warrior. How you doing, Sly?
Not so bad. How about you? How are you now?
Feeling very nimble after today.
I bet you are.
I'm feeling very, very nimble.
I bet you are.
I can't wait to talk about that.
I know you can't.
How's your week been, Sly?
It's good. No, it's just the fact that you came in chat. Sly, Moonfire Faire, so good. I'm like, happy. There's a hint of sarcasm in it. No, it's so fucking good. All right. Okay.
There was no sarcasm.
I'll admit that, because you actually like shit like this. I don't. I have vehemently, shown my disdain for content like this.
That was a hell of a sentence. Vehemently showed my disdain. You're starting to sound like you're from Eorzea. Now you just need to be more nimble.
So on today's show, we're going to be talking about Pagos, like you said, and Nimble Warrior, aka the Moonfire Faire. Yeah, how has your week been?
My week's been good. Just farmed Rathalos a little bit since last week. It's crazy Rathalos and Pagos have only been around a week. It's blowing my mind that it's straight up only been this is the 8th day. Like it's blowing my mind. It's not been that long at all. Still not done with Rathalos, still don't have them out. Been doing a little bit of Pagos here and there. We've had some other stuff that are not 14 related over the week as well. You know, Dauntless had a patch and has, some more stuff coming up this month, and Monster Hunter World released last week, and there's been a lot going on. We Happy Few released. Let's be Mr. Happy Few, but all the same, of course. So it's been a busy week, but I've managed to still take some time to put some time into Pagos and really get my thoughts kind of centered around it. And we're now looking at it a week later. We said last week we should give it some time, see, because the first few days of Animos were a bit chaotic in the way people approached it and the way people spoke about it and talked about it. And I didn't get to play Animos at launch. I had to wait about almost 2 weeks before I even got to step foot in there. And I don't know if that conversation's gonna change all that much, actually, a week later at this point, Sly. Less than I expected it would. No.
Like, no changes have been made. It's still the same, and there have been
slight changes. A little bit.
Noticeable?
Pretty noticeable, actually. We'll talk about that. Because there was a hot fix today, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But how is your Pagos progress going? Your Pagos.
Your Pagos. It's going. I would be 25, but the instance kind of died down. So I just went ahead and hopped out and did what you recommended. But yeah, other than that, pretty good. Like I go in, it's pretty chill. It's not as chill as the Animos hype train, or the train.
Nothing can be as chill as the Onimos train. Nothing can.
Oh God, no. Oh, and we really didn't talk about, you know, at the beginning of the week, the cheese, so to speak, the minimal cheese that some people were doing. I even told some people came in and asked Sly, you know, it's so fucking slow in Pagos. What do you do? Go back to Onimos.
For the first few levels, that's what a lot of people are doing.
Yeah, just go back to Onimos. Yeah.
I've seen people stay in Onimos as late as 25 because that's when you can start working on your relic, technically, in Pagos.
I gave it a level. I mean, I got to 21 and then went back to Onimos and got to 22. So I gave it a level and then came back. I was like, yeah, I might as well.
I mean, it's either Netflix and chill or Netflix and carpal tunnel. Your choice.
Yes.
I can't think of. That's basically it. That's Onimos versus Pagos. This is Netflix and chill.
Basically.
Netflix and carpal tunnel. Which, by the way, if it's Netflix and carpal tunnel, I don't want to know what show you're watching. But anyway. So that's kind of the topic because Onimos was the train and Pagos is the chain.
The chain gang.
And luckily, somebody went way out of their way to make this apparent to our community on the front page of Reddit today. Because some of you may know someone who's really, really big topic with the guy. There's a guy who does like announcement videos on Fiverr. And he basically people give him a script. They tell him to say something. And then he says it. And there's been one of these in the 14 community before where he was telling people they sucked.
Your DPS is shit, and you get carried in coil every week.
And he's very upbeat and joyous about it. Well, somebody, at least this is the person who posted it, so I'm going to assume it's the person who paid for it. Here WS or Heroes or something like that on Reddit decided, you know what? We really need one of those for Pagos. So we're gonna. This is about how many seconds is this? This is like a 20-second clip.
Yeah.
Sly, we're gonna shut up. We're just gonna watch this for the memes because this is a pretty accurate representation of Pagos versus Onimos. So Sly, shut up while we watch this. Okay. Okay. He shut up. All right.
Grandma's house has a message for you, Chuckle Fox, asking for the NM train. The train is dead. Long live the chain. Enjoy the relic grind. Grandma's house out.
Does he say anything else? No, he doesn't. Oh my god. It's I'm so glad somebody paid $5 for that guy to do that.
You know we're gonna get that spammed in Pagos now.
Oh, there's no doubt. Long live the chain is 100% going to be spammed. Oh my god. So yeah, somebody did that, and that is amazing. And I couldn't be happier that somebody did that. I couldn't be happier. Oh, we are bad people. So thank you here, WS or Haruz, whatever. No, it was great. It wasn't terrible at all. What are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying we're terrible people.
We're not terrible people. This guy makes a living off doing this. We're supporting his lifestyle. And his lifestyle just makes people smile.
Getting him to say horrible shit that we would want to say.
That wasn't horrible. Long live the chain isn't horrible. Listen, people have made him say worse things, as I'm sure almost everyone who knows who this guy is knows.
Yeah.
So and it's not we didn't pay for this. We just enjoy it.
No. Yeah, we laugh at it. We do.
It's amazing.
Would you ever get him to say anything? If you could pay him to say anything right now about 14, what would it be?
That's you put me on the spot with a real big question here, Sly. Like that's $5 whole I gotta think about. I don't want to regret this. So yeah, it's got to be something about like somebody I could imagine giving me one. Mr. Happy, Blitzball is coming. Somebody's gonna give me one of those. Like, and my retort would be to make one where its Blitzball is never coming. And so I feel like it's like an endless loop of one or the other happening.
Square Enix, jumping puzzles are not content.
That's Sly's choice, based on what we'll talk about a little bit later.
Basically.
Neither is Blitzball, by the way. Anyway, just making that apparent. Yeah, to be fair, neither is Pagos. So regardless, we're moving on. But we'll move on from there. But yeah, that's to get back on track. Chain versus Train, and a week later, it has started to change a little bit, tiny bit, has it? A little bit. I've started seeing a lot more people hanging out either in the base or near an Aetheryte and just going to NMs, and they're getting they're getting a level a day, level and a half a day, doing a couple lockouts, whatever, and super low effort with Netflix on, and that's it. That's what they're doing. That's how I said a little bit, because the majority of the zone's not doing it.
It's not the same. Yeah, you're right, but it's not the same as the train. It's definitely not the same.
That's what Sly, you are never getting your tackle box. I'm glad we came full circle back to the tackle box. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. One thing I saw a lot of in today's instance is people who are like level 33 to 35 just soloing monsters that spawned NMs because they need Pagos crystals for their relics. They're just going out of their way to kill the lower half of the monsters that people aren't actively chaining on, or at least slightly away from them, to at least somewhat assist in speeding it up. So today I found I got, like 7-8 NMs, if there's Brothers, the Yak, Igloo, 2 Snow Queens, a Glavoid, Onipos, who I've never actually gotten a fight before. And it was, and it went really well between grinding mobs for the challenge log, which has become my new MVP in the last 2 Tuesdays that we've had.
Oh my god!
I mean, I went from 27, like maybe 3/5 through 27 to 29, thanks to the challenge log plus the NMs that actually were spawned today. So it went. Today was my most successful day. The least annoyed I've ever been was today in Pagos. And there's more than one reason for that, actually, Sly. I found a less annoying way to do chaining.
How was that?
Do it with less than 8 people. It's gonna sound crazy, but when we did 5 people and the monsters that were 4 levels higher, we never even remotely came close to losing chain. People can stop and type occasionally, and it's a little slower, but it pretty much gets the goal done without being like the worst thing I've ever done.
Why does that seem like it seems counterintuitive though, having less people and keeping the chain up more than you would with a full group?
I think it's because of the way elemental levels scales. Like when you're 5-6 levels under something, the amount of power you get from the 5 Magicites isn't nearly the same as having another level or 2 over the enemy itself, because we don't get any more Magicite in this one. So because we're a level closer, we're doing like several thousand more damage per hit. So we're just mowing the monsters down essentially. So it's less stress on keeping the chain because we're not fighting mobs that are that insanely high a level over us. And because there's so much extra time between the chains, like the tank stopped and typed something before pulling the next mob. If you did that shit when I was in a party at 8 chain and mob 6 levels higher, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Everyone starts losing their mind if that tank hasn't already pulled the next mob as soon as the first mob is at like 4 or 5% left. Right. And that felt like a non-factor when I was doing it today with like a smaller group of people. It was a more social experience with less people, oddly enough. At least that's how I felt.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give that a shot. Yeah.
It sucks because I want to play with like everyone I possibly can.
Right.
But the more our playtimes vary, we're running into other issues with Pagos over this last week. So I find that the groups of 4 to 5 people and sticking to mobs that are 4 levels higher was just a way more relaxing experience than trying to do like mobs that are 5-6 levels over with like 8 people, which I still think is definitely faster. I think you are sacrificing a little bit of efficiency to do this, but it makes the experience far more tolerable.
I've found my experience to be okay. what are we doing? All right, that's fine. Let's okay. You have to kind of come together and understand where we're going, what we're doing. Okay, what are we doing? Who needs what? Do you still have a challenge log? Perfect. Let's go get that. And then it turns into, where the fuck are we going? Why the fuck are we here? Why are you chain pulling shit when we can't even kill this first shit? Like, kid you not. I think it was in the first lockout I did today. We were doing what, level 29s, I think.
And you're 24, right?
24.
Okay.
I think this is where the Crocs are, so it's like eastern.
Yeah, it's like east, but it's like north of the ravine. I know where you are, yeah.
Yeah. So there was one mob. Tank lost hate. I elusive to because I had hate. So I elusive.
Oh no.
And we were right next to a cliff. And below that cliff is where the Crocs are. So I had to elusive to lose the hate. I elusive, takes me off the cliff, smack dab in front of a Croc. I'm like, okay, I have to get the fuck out of here. And the Croc just follows me because that's what he does. And then he sees somebody else, or somebody else tagged it. And then he starts picking people off one by one by one by one. Luckily, healer survived and rest us all. The end.
Fun story.
Yeah. So much fun.
That's elusive is dangerous.
It's dangerous, especially with positioning. I didn't even realize there were Crocs down there until I elusive and I got to the bottom, and it wasn't even that far of a drop. It was just like a little mini hop. And then it's like, oh shit. Oh fuck. Yeah, it was so much fun. Yeah. Yeah, give Melee Shirt 2018, please.
There you go.
Let us steal other shit from tanks.
Yeah, that's not at all like my experience. Today, like I said, today was the most relaxing Pagos I've had. I think having the challenge log available is a big reason for that, because we were a lot more focused on getting the challenge log done and getting some chaining done along the way versus the most efficient chain we could possibly get. And so, I guess that's going to be the first thing we should really hit on. With a weekend of Pagos, I think it's pretty clear we both have certain thoughts. I was on Mog Talk on Saturday, and I got to share some of those thoughts. I've developed some new thoughts about it since then, with some more experience that I've had in there. So let's kind of tackle each of the individual aspects, talk about things we'd like to see adjusted, instead of just destroying Pagos, because we could spend the whole show doing it.
It already does that by itself.
But we could add to it, but we can also have a conversation, Sly.
Okay.
All right.
Let's have a conversation. All right.
All right, good. Oh my god. All right, wait, hold on. Before we do that though, Solon just posted a thing in the chat that says, "This is your stream thumbnail." I swear to God, if it's Tyrone, it is. That's
brilliant.
That's
fucking brilliant.
I didn't even click it. I hovered over it and I saw that it was Tyrone. That's gotta look
fucking brilliant.
That's gotta look great in the directory. People are gonna be like, wait. What? My life is just great. So
great. Awesome.
Okay. So let's go one by one through the things in Pagos, what we like, what we don't like, what could be adjusted. I want to hit something that was adjusted first, because it's probably the first thing you'll experience in Pagos, and it's that bunny fate that we were talking about last week. So last week, what we had to say was no EXP, don't even get a bunny every time, and because of how many people are in the zone, it takes too long for anyone to reasonably kill, so aka complete waste of time.
All right.
That's where we stood last week. They've made adjustments. It now has significantly less HP, to the point where with like maybe 10 people in a full instance, we killed it in about 6 minutes, whereas that would have probably taken about 16 minutes before. So significantly reduced. I still think they could go about making it scalable based on the number of people in range of it a little bit better, but that's technology we've been asking for way too long, and the fact that it doesn't exist yet is disappointing. I also know there's a lot more people getting the actual bunnies. I don't know if it's because they're aren't a lot of people doing the bunny, so it's just like there's a maximum number and we're just not hitting above that. But it seems like more people are getting bunnies. Almost everyone I know said I did the bunny fate every time I got a bunny. Almost everyone I spoke to today.
Last week I was there. I hit stuff, not stuff part of the conflict. Still got a bunny.
Fuck you. You know how many times I tried that last week? To no avail.
Like, I'm like, where the fuck is this bunny coming from? Oh, we were a part of that. Oh, okay. We didn't do anything. Somebody did something. Like,
you had to have hit one of the mobs because you have to hit them. You had to have hit one mob in there at some point.
Yeah, I maybe tagged one of them, but like it wasn't, a sizable contribution to merit me getting a bunny. I still got a bunny. Like I just poked something and just moved on. That was it.
Yeah. So with that, I mean that starts to address some of the issues with the bunny fate. I'm far from convinced about doing them repeatedly, though. There's still no concrete evidence if it has any sort of impact on the other NM spawning. There's a lot of theories going around, but nothing concrete. On top of that, still, even when you get a bunny every time, you don't always get stuff that's good. I got 2 bronze chests today, for example. The gold chest is the one you want, because that's what gives you one of the Hakutaku eyes, which you need to get the cluster to get the optical hat. And it gives you 100k. The gold chest. It's got bank in there. I'm not 100% convinced about it yet, though. And personally, I would prefer it to be implemented where after you kill an NM, there's a chance that an elemental conflict follows, as opposed to it being in this one part of the map that is way out of everyone's way, which means you're not killing mobs, which means you're not gaining experience. So
right.
For me, that's the one change I think I'd make to the bunnies. I'd still like to see them given maybe half the EXP that the Snow Queen gives, like 29,000 for the level 21 and then half the amount of whatever the level 31 fate gives. But that's it. After that, I mean, once that's done, I also think that the bunnies you get from the level 20 fate need to not take you to the fucking far corners of the map where you're guaranteed to get murdered.
They do.
They do. Like, it should be, I can understand the level 21 taking you anywhere in the south half. I don't, like, even all the way east on the south half. I get that. The one in the north should only be the north half, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way.
There's something far northwestern. I'm sorry, what? I'm not going there.
No.
I'm just saying no, fuck you. And see, the funny thing is I did try, and that's where I met my dragon for the first time. Oh yeah, the sleeping dragon. Yeah.
How to chain your dragon in this case.
Yep.
Pretty much. And nobody's chaining the dragons because they're too far apart.
Pretty much.
So that's how I felt about the bunnies. A good step for them. I felt a little bit better to do them today, but still some ground to be made up with those. How are you feeling about your bunny expeditions?
Not really doing them because I see no point to it. I mean, from what you say, gold chest is 100k guaranteed, right?
Yeah. And the silver chests are 10k also, and usually silver chests are like a grade 6 and like 10k. The bronze chests can give grade 5 like 1k, and then sometimes they give you crafting materials for the potion of harmony. I think the silver chests can also give you a potion, the items that you need to craft a potion of harmony.
Do we have percentages on like each tier gold? No, okay.
Not that I know. Only thing I know is every single person who's gotten a gold chest has told me they've gotten like a wooden eye or one of those.
I mean, you could see that as an alternative to the chain a little bit if you really want to do that. But like, I'm not about that life. I'm sorry. Like it. I mean, I'm all for RNG, but I'd rather chain than do something that could potentially net me almost nothing for an entire lockout.
There you go. I think you just hit the bunny fate at its core.
Yep.
So in other words, keep adjusting it. You're not done. All right. Next, we have the chain.
The chain.
And in case anyone needs a reminder,
Chuckle Fox asking for the NM train. The train is dead. Long live the chain!
Yeah, so that's kind of where we stand. So the chain is the most.
You just want to keep that as your.
I really do. I kind of really do. I just want it to stay the thumbnail. So if I play it every now and again, it will stay. So,
okay.
So the chain is probably the biggest thing to talk about when it comes to Pagos because it is the core of what you're kind of expected to do. After a week, I don't think that's inherently a bad decision. I think that when you hit 25, it starts to kind of take a better form because you get the feeble lights, you get the experience points, which if you're doing it correctly is relatively okay. But I did run into a few personal issues with it. One, this game is not fucking made to press buttons that much with like no break. For the controller, you controller players, I'm going to say I'm actually jealous of you for once. Normally, I'm like, okay, I'm neutral with them.
Shit, even I get tired of this fucking shit. Like, what are you talking about?
But I feel like with a controller, like, I don't get hand cramps or anything. Like, maybe it's just me. I don't get hand cramps or wrist pain with controllers.
You're not going to get that. Yeah, advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like with a controller, like, I want to just pick up a controller just to get through Pagos. That's how I feel. So... I'm actually jealous of controller players. Normally I'm like, oh yeah, controller player, cool. Like, it doesn't bother me, play, whatever. Now I'm like, dude, that's a fucking good idea, man. Oh, why didn't I think of that? That's so good. Oh man. Okay. All right. And on top of that, the amount of EXP you get per mob, not really satisfying.
Even transformed?
Well, mutated kind of fucks with you because it generally slows down kill speed. So if you're doing the 8-player party with the 5 to like 7 level monsters ahead of you, then it can really screw with you if you get a mutation because it slows down the kill speed to the point where it's probably going to cost you a chain unless you're really early on. And adaptations are fine. Can still cause some issues, but not nearly as bad. So adaptations I'm okay with, but it depends because sometimes you want to be killing the monsters that spawn NMs and those mobs don't adapt or mutate. So, you know, how often are you really benefiting from that all together? And the chain bonuses are nice, but then it creates that whole can never drop the chain mentality, can't take a break, can't ever stop pressing buttons. And if anyone hiccups for even a half a fucking second, that's it. Kick their asses out, get the parsers up. I need to know who's doing shit DPS.
I mean, is it that really
No,
serious?
there are a lot of people pulling out parsers in Pagos to make sure that their groups can chain properly. It's getting real hostile out there, Sly.
I fall asleep fucking chaining. It's gotten to the point where we can do this in our sleep. And unless people pull more shit or shit we don't have any business, that's not a part of the shit we're chaining right now, it hasn't really been an issue for me.
Sly, you also jumped off a cliff, so you've got other issues going on here, right?
Yeah, like Tank losing Hayden, me almost dying and shit.
Yep. Those will cause issues. I'm personally of the opinion that if one of the biggest things in MMOs for me is how much impact are my actions actually having on my progression. So if I kill one monster, how many buttons did I need to press to kill that one monster? And then how much did I get from that one monster? How much impact per button press am I getting? Now, impact per button press can be measured by the amount of damage you deal, like a black mage doing a fat crit, or an inner release on a warrior. That's one way to gauge impact. Another way is through how much EXP did I get, how much HP percentage did the boss lose, and there's none of that at all because you're fighting mobs that are so high level over you. Your damage numbers are unimpressive. The EXP you get's unimpressive, and when you get the chains, you're like, "Wow, that was amazing!" Except now I'm back to shit percentages. So. And healers and tanks are totally fucked in chains. They are the ones who're not allowed to stop, especially above all else. Tanks got to be on that constant pull, on that constant grind. Healers, same deal, because when you're fighting mobs 5-6 levels over, that shit fucking hurts, okay?
It does. And somebody will randomly get hit that's not a tank. So yeah. Or they'll pull something. So yeah. Always got to be on your P's and Q's. Healers. Same.
I'd just like to see the chain made a little more, just a little more.
The chain means something a little bit more.
Mean a little bit more because it's the primary way, and I feel like it just isn't rewarding. Maybe chains are better with lights because sometimes I go a whole 30 chain getting no light for any of my crystals, which sucks. Somebody mentioned that mutated mobs can actually drop lock boxes at the higher levels, which is kind of nice. It'd be cool if the bronze and silver chests were available in some ways earlier on, and the gold chests were available at the higher levels. And then I don't know. I think just make a few changes just to make it so that if I am gonna have to sit here and do this chain, I don't feel bad doing it. And right now, I feel bad doing it.
Now in Animus, we had I like to call it a good problem, because there was all, like, at the beginning, and you weren't there, there was the conversation of chain versus train. I preferred to train. It was more relaxing. It felt better. Yeah, you're gonna feel like a lazy fucking bastard doing the train, but you still get XP. Like there's no downside. I feel like neither one kind of had a downside. And this one is not existent, where the other has plenty of downsides. I really want to champion, going into Pagos, doing chains. I really want to get behind it. And I do it nonetheless. I still have to. You kind of have to. But it just feels so shit. It really feels shit. And we do need the adjustment. We need the adjustment to chaining. Will we see an adjustment to NM spawns?
I don't think we need an adjustment to NM. I actually think that's one thing people aren't on the ball about, because I'm now seeing with more people at the higher levels, I still think it's not as fast, but I also think it's not going to get slower from here. It's going to keep getting faster. So I'll talk about adjusting those when we have 35, like a lot more 35s in the zones. But today people were just mowing, like we had a ton of NMs today because the high levels were going back and they could solo the mobs to spawn for the lower level people, and they need the Pagos crystals anyway. So people are still chaining, and the high levels are going back down to work on Pagos crystals if they don't need the light by spawning the NMs there. I mean, that's what I ran into at the very least.
And how many lockouts did you do there?
I did one, and it was like I said,
7 and 1.
No, we had. Let me see if I can count them. So I had 2 Snow Queens, Igloo, Onapos, Hakutaku, Glavoid, the Yak, I can't remember its name, Brothers, and I think there was one I didn't run to, but no, because Taxim never spawned. So I think that was all of them.
So that's 8.
And one spawned right after I was done. So it's literally like as I exited, one spawned as well.
9. Yeah. Within 2 lockouts, and I didn't even do full lockout on the second one because it died so quick. 2 that I missed, 2 NMs that I missed, 1 other. The second one, 2, and that was maybe like half.
So you had 4 and you missed half of them.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. I had a decent experience in mine today with all the NMs that we had. It was a substantial amount. So I think that the NM train is something that maybe it does need adjustments still, but I think that for the time being, if you're someone who did want to just level off of it and Netflix on the other monitor, you could probably start to get away with it as of the last couple days, and it'll probably get even easier in the next few days. Just do the challenge log, because that thing's dope as hell.
I mean, if you're really serious about that and you only want to, level through challenge log, it's really early levels. I'd say you see more of an impact. Like if you, like today, reset, I did every single one of them and got a complete level off of it. So yeah, early levels, yes. I mean, it'll still make an impact at the later levels, but
yeah, it scales with level.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. So the higher level you are, the more it's going to give.
Oh shit. Well, fuck. Either way.
Challenge log.
Yeah, you could probably
great.
Yeah, you could probably, take your time, do it casually, quote unquote, and just do it once a week and just for the challenge log XP, and you'll eventually get to 35.
It's a really weird amount of experience because I figured it would be like 5 and 10% for the levels, but I think I needed like 1.3 million EXP and it was like 254,000 or something, which is like 18% or some shit. It's like for the kill 60, it's some really weird number, and I don't know how much it scales up to the really high points. But yeah, I mean, just logging in, doing Pagos once a week for the challenge log, you won't get a weapon done, but at the very least, you'll start to move through it to the point where you are 35, and then the whole map is your playground because you have the mount and everything. So it's nice, and the challenge log is going to now bring us to the next point. I'm not 100% done talking about the chain, but I want to talk about the challenge log offering the idea of mini objectives on the map. With the challenge log, people come together and they make parties specifically for doing the challenge log, and they go kill this monster and they go kill that monster, and you're kind of moving from place to place relatively frequently, and you can still double up and kill monsters that are needed for notorious monsters, or kill monsters that you can chain on while working on the challenge log, so you can just do what you were doing and it's just going to be better for the first day or two. And that was good, having this like constant motion and this moving around the map and still being able to dip out for things like NM spawns and whatnot. It felt a lot better having this micro goal than what the whole goal of Pagos is altogether.
Agreed. 100%.
It makes me want basic functionality we have in 14 in Pagos. Daily hunts, leave quests.
That will add towards the elemental XP?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a lot, but if it's something that I can go in there and like work together, so maybe there's a hunt where I have to kill a specific boss that's within my level range. Great, I'll go work on that instead of looking for a chain party or some shit. It's just actual questing. Yeah,
I'd be down. I'd definitely be down. It just like it to me. I feel like we're at the beginning of Stormblood. Except we're like within another instance. It's just grinding, everybody's trying to get to 70 and yada, yada, yada. Now we're trying to get to 35. So it's only 10 levels instead of 20. Upside, we don't have to go 20 levels. It kind of feels like we're just, doing what we did at the beginning of Stormblood. And at the beginning of Stormblood, it's fun.
Yeah, but we had quests. We had quests.
We have quests. We have shit to do. Now it just like you have a purpose. It's so, I wouldn't say short-sighted. It's so I guess tunneled.
I'd say any word that describes literally taking what the core of your game is and just removing it for the sake of creating a quote old school experience. Yeah. It's not all too exciting.
No, absolutely not. So I agree with you. We could definitely use questing things to kind of make it just like everything else in 14, just like what we normally did at the beginning of Stormblood.
I'd like them to throw a Eureka twist on it at the very least. Like I'm okay with like hunts being like kill 10 of this mutated monster, for example, as opposed to just kill 10 of a monster or something. So that way, you still have to do things that are pretty important to Eureka. You still have to probably come up with a party together. It's going to be a monster that's in your level range, so you're going to need to do that. You're going to need to pay attention to weather effects, which is something they like to do in Eureka. And you're still going to have to actually go get this mutation adaptation. Just micro goals that still fit in Eureka's core concept. And I still want the chaining to be the best, because that's what their main goal seems to be. So leave it that way, but just make it so that you have these other micro goals to work on.
Now, devil's advocate, with the many swings and misses that we have in Pagos, do you think this was done in response to how quick we got through in Animos? Because you have to realize it's been a week, and like in Animos around this time, I was getting Sly. I'm already working on my like second, third weapon. Like, it's only been a fucking week. What were you doing? and some people are at that phase right now where they can, possibly make a weapon or they're almost done. So I wouldn't say it's equal, but it's still a little like the, I guess, completion percentage or the people who are leveled to the point where they could get a weapon is so far from what it was in Animos. So do you think this was done in response to that?
I think they saw the number one complaint with Animos, and the number one complaint with Animos was, oh my god, why is the NM train the best way? Why is it not working together to kill monsters? Why does it just follow the brain dead train? They saw that.
Oh, so
said,
we did this to ourselves.
We did this to ourselves, pretty much. Yeah, like that was well. To be fair, that's the feedback. The feedback is the train isn't great. We want to be doing other things. The other thing is killing monsters, which is kind of still what you do in the train anyway. It's just most mobs die before you even see them or before you even use an ability. That's pretty much the only core difference is we're killing a shit ton of monsters effortlessly, and now we have to kill them all separately with effort. And so they took that and they went, oh, well, people didn't like the NM train, so let's make sure we put an emphasis on chaining this time. I don't think they got the purpose of why the NM train was frowned upon the way that it was. It wasn't frowned upon because we wanted the excuse to go chaining. Some people did. But it wasn't because of that. It was because it wasn't exciting. And neither is chaining. Neither of these things are engaging or exciting or thought-provoking or even in any way a rational form of entertainment.
But people have a preference. I mean, I prefer the train. It's not exciting. I'd take it over chaining. 100%.
It's just, if you're going to make the chain the weight at level, then make it proportional. Make it proportional to the experience that people got from the first one.
Right.
Because there's no reason for the chain and chain leveling to take as many hours as it does, except for them wanting you to do it longer. That's it. And the worst part about all of it, Sly, this is supposed to be for the somewhat casual player base.
And they don't even want to do this shit.
And they are uninterested in doing it.
Yeah, that's how you know you really swung and missed. Like when the casuals, when the core group that you made this content for, they don't even want to do this shit. I'm just here so I don't get fined, Marshawn Lynch. I don't care. I don't really need it. I'm seeing it through because ever since, Heaven's Ward, I've saw my relic through. I'm seeing it through. But they don't even want to do this shit.
For me, it's all about core audience. You know what your core audience can do right now if they really want to? The weapon upgrades are available from the weekly coins from the 24-mans now. You can get a 370 weapon that way.
Hooray. If you want to take it a step further, if you are really about that life, weekly restrictions are moved from Sigmascape. Have fun.
Yeah. Well, you
have options.
Yeah, you have options, but I was still specifically speaking to the casual player base that approaches things at just a slower pace.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, we're not using the terms casual necessarily in the form of skill, but more so in time investment. And more so in, I can log in, get something done, log out, and then work on that, like, on my own schedule. You can kind of do that here, but... And on top of that, we're talking about having all these sub-activities. I think we kind of forgot that this is... The Relic used to be something where if you wanted to do the certain activities, they made it so that as many activities contributed to it as possible. So if there was an activity you already enjoyed, like, I like having a reason to log in and do all my roulettes. I get this much progress. Maybe I desynthesize some loot, get some tomestones, sell some all of a sudden it creates this, like, core desire to do multiple activities. Or if you do, you can grind it out like crazy, like people have done with those steps as well. Fine. You do it both ways.
Fuck books.
Yeah, but fuck books.
One activity fuck books. I gave up on that one.
If Jarol hands me a goddamn book, I'm gonna punch him in the face in the next zone. I don't want it. No. I don't want it. I don't want the book. And that's it. Like, you've taken the relic step, which has this core audience. You've designated it over 2 expansions for what audience it's designed for, and you've now pushed it in the direction of do this or fuck you, pretty much.
Yep. I mean, but in a sense, we asked for this, because this is like, Diadem wasn't Reddit. I mean, Diadem wasn't Relic. Excuse me.
No, I think both statements are correct.
You're right. Diadem wasn't Relic. It was like optional content, and they just integrated the optional content with Relic. We were looking forward to it. We were hoping that it would be better than Diadem. And I mean, I can say that it's better than Diadem. Hell, anything in the gold saucer would be better than Diadem. I'm just saying.
Not Lords of Verminion, that's in the gold saucer.
I'd put that above it, honestly.
God damn.
You get challenge log.
Okay, you got me there. At least I'll zerg down 3 matches in 5 minutes just to get my challenge log out the way. You're right.
Exactly. It's worth something. Yeah, like they put the optional content together with the relic content. Like, and at one point in time, like you said, both were optional. It's something you had the option to do. It's you don't really have to do this content. You don't, if you really need a weapon, you can do it, but you don't have to do it. You can still raid, you can do 24 mans, yada yada yada. It's just that they really sucked the fun out of this one. I'm sorry.
I said it last week, Sly. I said I'd rather do an 11 grind. Listen, if they're gonna make me do something that's completely brain dead and unengaging but if they're gonna make me do something that's brain dead and unengaging to my senses, I'll play the game that was better made for it.
And you already are.
I fucking
you are torturing yourself. You're torturing yourself double.
2 days ago, I was in Pagos. We zoned into an instance. The instance got 40 people and then refused to get more. I don't know if it was dead or people weren't queuing. We dropped down to being the only 8 people in the instance. I left and turned on Final Fantasy XI.
So you basically did the same thing. You basically logged out of 14.
But then you know what I did? I put my character in front of a boss and took my hands off everything and said, now that's how you grind. And then I would occasionally press a button with my fucking controller. Like, all right, weapon skill. See you in fucking 25 seconds. I agree with Cyber, by the way.
You shut your whore mouth. You shut your whore mouth.
Nah, I'm all right. I'm all right.
No.
It's just like, if I'm gonna, I instead of giving myself carpal tunnel, I'll just literally play a game where it's the opposite. I press like 5 buttons a minute. I press start attack, weapon skill, maybe a job ability or 2, and then in a minute I have to assume I've at least started fighting the next mob. There you go. That's it. It worked better. It's not. They took the worst part about 11 and just made that Pagos. And did it with 14's combat system, which is, for some jobs, I'll at least say, quite tedious and stressful. And carpal tunnel inducing. The train was actually the authentic 11 experience because I only need to press like 5 buttons a minute. Exactly. The train was more... was felt more, and on top of that, everyone was chatting, everyone was social, there's dumb shit and shout chat. That was more an 11 experience than Pagos was for me any day.
Now, we've been we've been shitting on Eureka for, pretty much the majority of the show.
4 months. 4 months.
Yeah, we're gonna include Animos on this one, even though it's better. I mean, we shed on your Animos at the very beginning, but in like a couple days later, you know what? This ain't really that bad. We haven't gotten to this point yet. We have not gotten to that point in Pagos. Now we can continue to shit on it, or we can kind of come up with solutions like you've been doing. And I'm kind of pointing to the Reddit post that you gave to me before the show.
Yeah.
Basically, and we can, link it in the chat too.
Yeah.
Basically, what this Reddit post did, it explains everything in detail of what Eureka is, why it is failing right now, and what can be done. Like where it went short, where Animus went short, where Pagos went short, and things in the game right now that would outside of Eureka that could be brought into Eureka and make it a better experience. Happy was saying quests, hunt logs. In the post it says base building, loot drops.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan.
I'm a fan of those
treasure
ideas.
maps.
Treasure maps. I said treasure maps a few months ago. I've wanted Eureka and treasure maps for a while now because it just made too much sense to me in Animos as well. And that's the thing. Like, we don't want the train back. We just, if that's not what we're doing, we just want to make sure it's not just killing monsters and nothing else. I think that's the core point of this entire post, is we don't just want to sit in one location, or at least most of us don't, one location, kill mobs that are a ton of levels higher than us for microscopic amounts of experience compared to what you need. And then an NM spawns once in a while.
Right.
Base building,
now,
no, you go, because I already went. Here.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, base building, like they mentioned, Dome and Enclave, they could have done even more with. I agree. We could do fucking base building. Yeah. You could do fucking base building here, where we have our area of operations, and then we actually build upon it. I like it.
Now, the only thing I'll disagree with is taking stuff from Eureka and putting it into the rest of 14.
Oh, yeah. I don't fucking want that shit. No, it's left too much of a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. And now the only thing I will agree with in this particular bullet is the UI feature that has your elemental level. That I can agree with. A way to see where you are in Eureka without having to go to Eureka. I mean, yeah, it's easy for everybody to remember. But I don't think there's any real reason to have it other than just check your elemental level, what you have on your magic board, all that. But, yeah, I don't think there's. I mean, it's a nice idea. I just don't think it's needed. The reason why I don't think it's needed is because as soon as Eureka's gone, that becomes a UI element that's pointless.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So you're done with Eureka. What are you going to look at it for? Hey, I did this.
Yeah, at the end of the expansion, all of a sudden it becomes a worthless UI element.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then they mentioned loot drops. Well, somebody's already mentioned that you can get those gold chests from the high level mutated monsters. It'd be nice if there were other things. Like they have this concept with Hakutaku of, again, a throwback to 11. Hakutaku in 11 was a boss where you traded an eye cluster to a specific location and it spawned the boss, you killed him, and you got the hat. In this, instead you need the eye cluster in your inventory, and then Hakutaku will give you gold and the hat when you kill him. Which I don't think is an inherently bad idea to do, but I think with the rarity of the eyes, and I think with the way, like, it's just weird to have this one-off NM that's like kind of early-ish in the levels. You only really have one way of getting the eyes, and that's to do the bunny fates, which are otherwise so unrewarding you kind of don't want to. And even then, you still need 5 different eyes across all this to get an item that only really has its effect inside of Eureka itself. So, like, if you're gonna do these like loot drops, you can start to experiment a little bit more with the idea of requiring items to trigger certain events in Notorious Monsters or to trigger Notorious Monsters overall. Like, I mean, they do it with hunts. Like, hunts are dumb shit, like drop shit in a fucking lake or walk around with an Alexander minion. They do that kind of dumb shit with S rank hunts, and like, they could at least do some more interesting things if loot from individual monsters could be targeted towards Notorious Monsters more specifically. Or towards the effort of allowing them to be spawned, or towards the effort of actually properly rewarding people on them. And treasure maps, I'll just always agree with.
Yeah.
That's it.
100%.
I'll always agree with it. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things I feel like they could do to improve Pagos without ruining, like, I don't think that's the thing. You don't have to ruin the chain. You just add other things. I don't want the EDM train back. Yeah, it was chill, but I only want it back right now because it seems like it's the only other option. But it's not. It's just, it's the only, it's only one we know.
It's the only option we know of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I just want a more engaging experience. When I did my relic in the previous expansions, I could just do all these activities. I could help people with things. I could run things for me. I could just do so many different activities, or I could choose to spam the most efficient one. This, not really an option.
Nope.
Also, mounts at level 35. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Listen, the mounts are going to save me from the fucking dragons anyway, so why even bother? And honestly, I guess I want to talk about some things I like about Pagos. I like having the different aggro types. It gives a little bit more, personality to the monsters in there that otherwise are just kind of wild creatures. I like the sleeping dragons as roadblocks, and it makes everyone step back. I like those kind of environmental hazards.
It doesn't.
I mean, it doesn't, but the people who doesn't, it fucking kills them, or they have to sleep it and hope they don't get by. I think it's a hilarious aspect to have added in.
Yes.
I kind of like the verticality, but because of the way Aetherites, the levels that are required, I don't understand why the Aetherites are 21, 30, and 32. They should be like 21, 27, 32. Like, it's kind of stupid that it's 30 and 32. I just don't get it. The Forge I kind of like, but the Forge is also in the most asinine place that I've ever seen. So, again, because you can't teleport to that thing until level 30, it's annoying as fuck to use the Forge before then. And, like, having those kind of things. Also, I like having the boss caves that are set aside. Again, I like the verticality of it. I think the map design is generally okay.
Better or worse than Animus?
Animus is very, like, nothing's kind of segregated from each other. It's very wide open.
It's very open.
Yeah. Whereas Pagos is a lot more constrained. You know, you have to follow set paths to get to set locations. And I guess that's preference. I can't really say they should or shouldn't keep it that way. But I think they do a lot of things right in terms of what the zone is and what the zone has in it, in terms of it feeling alive and more engaging. It's a dangerous area, which is something people have wanted, and I think it's fine that it's dangerous, and I don't think they should ever move away from that. I think that Eureka encapsulates that perfectly. I like, yeah, it's frustrating to run by a mob and get killed with 120,000 damage, but there was ways around that. Patience or understanding aggro types, like, there is some things that are okay.
There are some things that are out of your control, too.
There are also some things that are out of your control. Yeah. So, EXP loss also is scaling out of control in these. Like, EXP loss is debatable whether or not it's worth having at this point. It doesn't, like, it's one of those things.
Has anybody really experienced it?
Mm-hmm,
I mean, other than...
People don't want to raise, man. Dude, here's the thing. If I'm working on a chain 30 and you died about, a 2-minute run away from me, I'm not stopping my fucking chain. Listen, either you're sitting there and waiting until I'm done with the 30 chain and then I'll come help you, or fucking too bad. That's it.
Yeah, and I guess you can attribute the bunnies to some people dying in, like, North Bumfuck and not having anybody wanting to go get you, or, like, nobody's really has a reason to be there.
And it also kind of kills the exploration aspects. Like on most people didn't mind running around in the low levels to kind of just see the map because there wasn't that expectation. And then at the higher levels, people would just raise you anyway because everyone was traveling together for the most part. Also, I mean, people weren't exactly busy during the train, so if they could run off to help someone, it just felt like a more helpful zone. People didn't have to be as selfish because the zone wasn't designed that way. So I feel like having the EXP loss and then having people like not like designing mechanics where people are unwilling to leave what they're doing to help another individual out, because it is so soul crushing to not get a chain 30 or to lose the chain for any particular reason. It just doesn't mix. It just doesn't mix well. I don't think it like chat said it. Pagos encourages people to not help each other, despite the fact that EXP loss is actively supposed to kind of encourage that.
Yep.
So, I mean, these are all things that are fixable. I think that's the big thing with Eureka. I don't think the concept is flawed. I think the execution is flawed.
Agreed.
So, I hope they can pull together because in today's hotfix, which everyone expected to have like these massive changes, I didn't. I knew they wouldn't because I knew it's only been a week and they still wanted people to discover more. But they openly acknowledged that they are going to be adjusting Pagos in coming weeks because I think they knew everyone was looking at that hotfix waiting to see what they did to Pagos. I think
it's going to be too late by then. Like I think people are going to trudge through it. They're going to get through it and they're going to curse it. They're going to curse it even then because like they're done. A lot of people, you included, like some people are almost done. By that time, you'll definitely be done. So why or how will this affect you? It'll affect everybody else who wants to do it at that time, sure. But yeah, it's going to be a little too late. I mean, the change will be good. It'll be good for the people who, experience it at the time, but for the rest of you, it's not going to matter. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying like don't make any changes to it. Absolutely. People want to do this shit, but they should have came sooner.
I mean, the whole zone should have came sooner. I think at this point, like, I'm really in the boat that their idea of the staggered release, just they waited too long, specifically with Pagos.
Right.
Big aspects. I think they missed it on. And you know what? One thing I keep forgetting to bring up. Why is there no elemental level syncing feature for parties? Why? What I mean by that, Sly, is let's say you have someone who you're streaming and people want to join your party. Guy's level 21, you're 24, almost 25. You can't really party with that guy. Sync down to his level. Now everyone is effectively that level for combat purposes, and then you go kill mobs that are 4 or 5 levels higher than you based on being level 21.
Honestly, from what I'm seeing, I think the community is doing a good job of that themselves.
They can't, because literally I can't play. Like, so yesterday I was trying to play, or not yesterday, I think the day before, and someone was level 25. And we were like, you know what? He'll hit 26 soon enough. Well, he also had 28 in the party. And so he was getting 700 EXP. We were fighting level 32 mobs. He got 700 EXP a kill. He couldn't get the level. Couldn't get it. Because we have this level range, I want to play with everybody. I want to participate in the content with as many people as possible. But no, I have to be inclusive about it.
And what I mean by that is like when you're looking at game chat, people have certain expectations. Like they 30 plus around 20 between 24 and 26 and yada yada yada. Like I think that's what I mean by it. The community is doing a good job of that, themselves. I understand where you're coming from with the whole syncing issue. I honestly feel it'll be I don't know, depending on how they do XP, because won't the higher levels be missing out on XP?
Yeah, I mean, there is that concern. So I guess looking to 11 again, that does have a level sync feature, is the amount of XP you get per monsters that you're fighting. It does start scaling up as you gain more levels. So I see what you're saying here. But I'd rather be able to get like what is considered an okay amount of experience points and play with whoever I want.
Right.
versus worrying about that like 1,000 EXP a mob I'm missing out on because I'm not fighting level 32s as opposed to level 26s, and then just only being able to play with people around my level. It's super restricted right now. And that's the thing. Pagos just got more and more restricted instead of more and more open.
Yeah.
And that's the downside.
More restrictive, more, hey, I have to survive. I have to get this notorious EXP. I'm sorry you have to wait. No one's around you. I'm not going from the western part of the map to up north where near King Igloo just to get you. I'm sorry, I can't. Like, although everybody was just there a couple of minutes ago, why? Yeah.
Again,
it's gotten more cutthroat.
Yeah. Again.
Yeah.
In Onimos, if there was someone who was low level, we could group up for the same goal. I could act like a chauffeur to them. I could res them if they needed it. I could help guide them through the more dangerous areas. I ain't gonna do that shit in Pagos. Now again, I don't want NM trains back, but at least there was that aspect to it.
To be fair, in the whole like chauffeur thing, they could probably get fucked up on your.
They will, and it'll be hilarious.
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
But I loved helping low level players. I love that was an option for me, and it's literally something I need to actively avoid in the zone.
Right.
It's unfortunate. They missed a lot of marks here.
Fucked up.
Yeah. Done screwed up. So hopefully these adjustments, I'm less looking to adjustments and more looking towards lessons learned. Because adjustments they come after you've already messed up. Whereas if you've learned your lesson, next time you don't mess up.
Exactly. So aren't they already working on the final?
They have 2 more zones.
2 more, excuse me.
2 more zones.
Oh shit.
There's 4 zones total. We have 2 more.
Okay. So we can look forward to the next zone and improvements, vast improvements, hopefully. I feel like the final zone just has to be perfect. Like every lesson we've taught them from Pagos, from Onimos to where they're going to be in the final zone, I feel like it has to be perfect. It, like, God's honest, it won't.
It's not wrong.
No, I'm just gonna go. I mean, it sounds pessimistic, but God's honest, it will not be perfect. It might not even be good. It might be above Pagos. There will be improvements, but I'm a little bit, jaded from the past 2 experiences.
Listen, and you should be, because you can't keep looking at every release being like, don't worry, next one. You can't do that.
Exactly.
Because then it's just benefit of the doubt, and there's no actual feedback channel there.
Right.
Oh man. So anyway, that's that. We could keep talking about it. I'm sure we could talk about it for a whole fucking month because there'll probably be adjustments that we have to talk about regardless. But it's not the only thing in our show today, Sly. Do you have any closing words about Pagos?
Do better.
That's not okay. Apparently, a message to the development team, because I don't think that's for you guys watching at home.
Just message to the devs. Do better.
Just do better. My closing words: come up with more engaging activities that aren't just killing monsters or just running from NM to NM. And you have those engaging activities in the game already and are very open to being incorporated here. So that's it.
AKA do better.
Yes. In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Do better.
All right. Now with that out of the way, Sly, we can talk about a much better content that was implemented into the game recently.
Okay.
Yeah. So yesterday the Moonfire Faire came to town.
All right.
Where you got? What are you doing?
Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it's seasonal events, Sly. Summer. Summer. We're on the beach. We're having a party.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time.
I like the bombards.
You like the what?
The bombards from last year.
Oh, you like the bombards
Whatever
from last year? This is way better.
Yeah. No, it's not.
See, this year, Eorzea's Nimble Warrior competition is in town.
Woo!
Sly, when you hear Eorzea's Nimble Warrior, what comes to mind?
Ninja Warrior.
What does Ninja Warrior make you think of?
A fucking obstacle course.
An obstacle course.
And
And that's exactly what we got. We got an obstacle course.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts pretty simple. You jump from platform to platform, in a straight line. And it's pretty good. We've had that in places like the Gold Saucer before. It works pretty well there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do the second one. Second one's a little harder than the first. Yeah.
Not too bad.
Gotta crank it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you get to the third one. And third one, you jump up a few platforms and there's an NPC there. And you're good.
Yeah.
You've done the obstacle course. Probably took you like 7 minutes, maybe, if you somehow can't land jumps that are like stupid easy. Yeah. But then you have two choices.
It just got fucking ignorant.
Then you have two choices.
It got fucking ignorant.
The first choice is I will speak to this NPC, I will hand in this quest, and then I will go back to the start and talk to that quest to get my awesome sunglasses. I already have my splashing emote. I get my glam, and I'm good. Or you could be a badass and take on...
That's what we're calling it.
We can take on
we're calling it.
the Costa del Sol, Eorzea's Nimble Warrior, Tower of Doom.
Fucking.
It is a jump tower a la the Kugane Tower. It's our Kugane 2.0. It's our Heaven on Y. It is Eorzea's Nimble Warrior. And I love it.
I bet you did. I was kind of, I knew we were getting this into Gold Saucer. I understood. I wasn't going to do that. I have no interest. Why? Who the fuck keeps asking for this bullshit? Who? Hey, yeah, besides you. We know you're culprit number one. I kind of feel like they're watching the show and they're taking your appreciation and my disdain. And they're saying, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go with it.
I will say that, unfortunately, the more I ask for this, the less of an argument I have when people say they want Blitzball, because I go, no, that's dumb. but make me jump all over the place. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. What's at the top of the tower? Blitzball.
Diadem.
Blitzball. Diadem.
Blitzball and Diadem are at the top of the tower. There you go. You cannot
a better Eureka.
Dude, just put Geralt at the top of the tower in Pagos and you can't get your relic unless you make it up there every time.
Yeah.
That's it. Pagos improved. Done. This is where Sly goes, and this is where I officially decided I was never getting my relic.
Yep. So Rug's done for this expansion, boys. I'll see you in 5.0. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I think for me, it's not even the fact that it's a jump puzzle. I don't even think that's the thing that I looked at it and went, yes. You know what I looked at it and went?
Even though you did.
I did. It's because I looked at it and went, oh my God, something that they put effort into as a seasonal event. Because I hate the seasonal events where it's talk to NPC, do one fate. Dude, you got to test. Do you understand that they had to have people at the office test this thing, right? Do you know how much fun?
No, it's one person.
No,
I promise you,
he
it's one
definitely gets other people at the office. You don't have one person. Like, there's a QA team at the very least who was this was introduced to them, and they went, yeah.
I need a name. I need a name.
A name.
That's all I need.
What do you need a name for?
Name.
What a name of what?
I just need a name.
What do you need a name for?
I just need the name of the person who did this. Give me a name. Just give me a name, please. Please and thank you.
Well, I'm sure we could find. I'm sure if enough people ask, we'll find out. But I just like that this is an actual event. Like, it's a totally optional part of the event. You don't have to do it, which is, I think, the right decision. But I do think. I actually think they could have gone a lot further with this. And I hope next year we see
a lot further. How?
Let me explain, Sly. Let me explain. I think they can go a lot further with this event now that they've kind of. At this point, they got to start seeing reactions. They got to see people posting screenshots. They got to see people sharing the event. They got to see that, at the very least, the talking about of this thing. Like, people are talking about it more. You know, whether it be the tower at the end or what it is. I see a lot more people talking about it, like, Haps, you got to do it. Oh my God, they actually did something different for once. And yes, there are people who don't give a shit about the tower, or if they were to give a shit, they wish there was something sitting for them at the top, because the one fallback is there is nothing at the top of the tower. There's a Bart's minion on top of a chocobo saying he's afraid of heights, which is a direct reference to when he encounters Hiryu in Final Fantasy V and says the same thing. That's it. And I think that's one of the drawbacks. I saw a suggestion in my chat earlier from Hammer about how even if you wanted to make getting to the very top optional, the idea of it actually being a course and being rewarded for progressing to certain points, and then being able to take like tokens or something from based on your progress, and then buy the actual event items, something a little bit more engaging, and something that even if you can't make it all the way to the top, you're at least motivated to go in, try it, and experience the entire tower as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a step in the right direction, is making it so the entire event is more engaging instead of this huge optional thing that doesn't really have a purpose other than I did it and took a screenshot, which for me is okay because I just like to say I did it. But for the majority of people, it's not. Yes?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I would be among that majority. Yeah. As content, it is interesting. I'll go ahead and admit that. I really feel like it didn't take a lot of thought. Because we already have Kugane. We already have we're already getting Gold Saucer. And I just really didn't think like it took a lot of, time. Somebody was really ready for this. Someone, went in like a few patches ago. So, what are we doing for Moonfire? What's on people's mind right now? That Kugane puzzle was really good. Let's do something like that done. Yeah, it didn't take too much thought. It's interesting because you obviously like it. I don't. I could give a damn about fucking jumping puzzles. It's not how the game was supposed to be played.
Yet.
Just saying. See, he says
they're
this
all,
shit
they're all
because
to
he
the
wants
top
fucking,
of the tower.
He says this shit because he wants you all to the fucking top of the tower. Some people say, shit, put this in raids. Like, okay, I won't raid. All right. Yeah, put a jumping puzzle in a fucking raid. Yeah, see what happens.
I just think
see how that goes.
I just think the core concept of doing something that isn't here's quest, go do fate, come back. It's just the fact that it's not that. Like, it doesn't even. Mm-hmm. I could have been someone who didn't want to do the puzzle, but I think they need to take a look at the parts that are mandatory and make them better. Like, personally, this is more like Ninja Warrior, but it doesn't really incorporate a lot of Ninja Warrior stuff. It is just jump from platform to platform. Ninja Warrior usually there's a little bit more finesse to it. In a sense, I'm someone who would like more something like a Wipeout course, for example. Like you run along the wall and there's fucking fists popping out that knock you off and knock you into the water and deal damage, or they have platforms that spin, so you have to jump on them at the right time, and then you have like pillars that can come by and knock you off if you don't jump over them. Like that's an actual engaging obstacle course as opposed to platform done. And I want them to do that next year.
I mean, we're just fans of anything that's like unconventional, like last year's Rising.
Oh God, I forgot about that. That was the puzzle.
The puzzle, the dungeon, the first was it? Yeah, it was first.
Simple dungeon. Simple dungeon.
Yeah, simple dungeon.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't first person, but yeah, it looked like
it was like Doom. It was like first person Doom. Cheap
like
dungeon.
Conventional dungeon crawler.
Cheap dungeon. That's what it was called.
Your dungeon crawler dungeon. Stuff like that. And everybody loves the unconventional. I really feel like, jump puzzles are becoming more conventional now. Like
they are.
I think after Gold Saucer, we've had enough. It's time to stop. I think that's where you can stop it, even though you're not going to. Yeah, we're just a fan of unconventional stuff, and like this was unconventional, so naturally a lot of people attached to it. Not my choice, but for the kids. Yes.
So for the one that's going to be in Garlemald, do you think where do you think it's going to be? Do you think they're going to like attach it to like the little base that we have? Is it going to be like in Garlemald? Or like I'm trying to get some ideas of how I should prepare myself for the next one. That's like, because we have Kugane, and there's also
and you're asking me.
Yeah, Sly, you seem to have your finger on the pulse of this one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You have to do it to actually get it. In order to break in to the Garlemald base, you have to do the jump puzzle to finish the story.
If this happens in 5.0, I'm going to mark this. I am going to highlight this. I'm going to keep this as a highlight. If this happens, I'm going back to this highlight and I'm fucking blaming you.
Sly, if it doesn't happen, I will be shocked. I mean, specifically a jump puzzle in Garlemald, not you have to do a jump puzzle to get through the main story. Listen, I'll shoot darts at anything to get through the main story, but I'm not going to subject people. Dude, you know what's going to happen if that happens? People are going to...
Yes, you would.
No, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't want to see other people go through that. But you know what I would do then? I would learn how to do it on my 2-seater chocobo and climb people through it.
I've seen people using the fucking the Ananta mount. That shit is interesting.
That's I don't know how anyone does it on that thing, but
they have. Like they done like the first part, like the beginning of like the third tower. And they got that some bitch up there somehow.
Dude, I've seen party finders of people selling climbs to the top. There's nothing up there, but they're selling climbs to the top. I got nothing for that, Sly.
I don't know what to say.
It's funny though, because you mentioned people doing it on mounts. There have been people who have gotten GM warnings for standing on like edges with mounts and not moving because they're obstructing other players' gameplay.
Yep.
So if you're doing that, make sure you're actually doing the puzzle. If you're actually doing the puzzle on the mount, they won't do anything. But if you're just sitting in one spot, deliberately obstructing people from being able to see the platforms properly, then you may be issued a warning by a GM.
So don't be a dick, please.
Sly, you're married in game, right?
Yes.
All right, get them to jump to the top and use the teleport ring.
They're not doing this shit. No.
Somebody said that to me, and I was like, "No way, Mel does this."
No. Yeah, no fucking way.
This is how they sell more eternal bonding stuff. They just let you teleport to the top of the.
Hey, there's anniversaries now and new bonding. Yeah.
Yeah, new bonding. There you go. Well, no, the new ones aren't till 4.4. The rebonding's not till 4.4. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So honestly, keep going with new stuff. Rising, I'm hoping to see not necessarily like another cheap dungeon, but I'm hoping to see something that isn't Do a Fate come back. That's the core thing. And if they can keep doing this with events,
if the story's good, if like I'll be okay with it. If the story's good.
Like I like the Valentine's one where you had to go through the little hedge maze. I like the haunted house now that we get for Halloween. I love those. I now enjoy. Like I'm actually looking at seasonal events and going like, okay, I'll do that. Before, like for a while, I was just like, I don't really give a shit.
Right.
So I'm majorly just fingers crossed that they keep coming up with good ideas and then expanding upon them for seasonal events. Because seasonal events should be something that someone wants to log in and do.
Mm.
So do it. And that's with that. I think Sly's done talking about Eorzea's Nimble Warrior challenge.
I am.
Well, fortunately for you,
do you have any parting words for?
Can't wait for the gold saucer 4.4. That's my parting words.
Okay. Alrighty.
There you go. I mean, there's a lot of things I'm looking forward to in 4.4 that aren't the raid. The roulettes for the treasure maps and gold saucer. Now I'm looking forward to the gold saucer part more. Before I was just like, okay, cool. Now I'm like, I just hope that the MGP rewards are decent. And yeah, I just hope they keep doing. I can't wait for the Rising. I just want the Rising to be good. That's all I want. And
it will be.
Other than that, I mean, there's not really a whole lot going on. One thing that started happening is Tales from the Storm started launching. Once all of them are out, we'll no doubt have Ethos on and have a discussion about, or at least lump those into the discussion about certain lores. The first one's about Yotsuyu and her, I guess, her descent into madness, in a sense, with becoming an actual, a member of the Garlean Empire. It's a pretty good one. Sly smiling. Why are you smiling?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. There'll be a new one this Friday. Every Friday until the actual 31st, the 14-hour live stream on the 31st. There's going to be one every 7 days, so we can look forward to another one this Friday. Looking on the anniversary website, let's see what else is listed up over there. Related sites. No, I don't want related sites. What are you doing? Take me back to the main page. This is so sad. Heidelin, play answers. When somebody said that in my chat earlier, I was so... Because I fell off the thing, like, pretty high up, and somebody just typed, this is so sad. Heidelin, play answers.
Heidelin, play answers.
I was like, I approve. I approve of this meme. Let's see. So we've got the 5th anniversary site. So what's popped up there? We have messages from the developers. I don't know when the new ones of those are hitting. There's going to be every Friday. There's also going to be more of those. So we have those to look forward to this Friday. And for the most part, that's just a little bit of flavor text. They talk a little bit about looking forward to some of the stuff they're working on right now, and they can't wait to see people's reaction to it, and what their experiences have been so far on the website. There was a typo on Yoshida's one the day it was released where it said, it's been 5 years since A Realm Reborn launched on August 27th, 2018. And then they went back and fixed it. It now says the correct date.
Yeah.
So that's better.
Yeah.
We have Tales of the Storm. The 14-hour broadcast is on the 31st. Gamescom is coming up on the 21st. So we'll probably get some interviews out of that at the very best. So with 4.4 at such close proximity, be on the lookout for that. We have the Rising. That's going to start Monday, August 27th at 1 a.m. And then we also have the Interior Design Contest, which I forgot about. That ends August 27th. We have the Moonfire Faire going on right now. We have the Art Contest going up until the Fan Fest in Las Vegas, because that's where they're going to be featured. The Costume Contest, new community event. We have they have the collaborations, and then the fan favorite music poll. And it says more coming soon. They're just taking everything happening in the next 3 months and throwing it on the 5th anniversary site. Most of this stuff has nothing to do with the anniversary.
No, yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with the anniversary, but I like the idea of this little calendar that they have. Just for, content and anything. If they want to use it, keep on using it, please, dude. Like, visuals. I like this.
Yeah, because they also have a straight up calendar on it, which is pretty interesting. I'm sure more coming soon is going to include 4.4 after the anniversary broadcast. Like, they're just going to throw 4.4 onto that and just be like, yeah, anniversary. And I'm going to be like, yeah, beat it in a day. Anyway, so, That's true. I mean, maybe I'm hoping for a day, but 2 days at the most, probably. So, yeah. But we have all of that, so make sure you guys are keeping up to that, especially for someone who's interested in the lore and the words from the developers. I'm hoping to see some interesting stuff over the next few weeks, especially with the Rising event. I'm not going to talk about it, but there's been some data mine stuff, so we won't talk about them in particular, but people are excited based on some of that stuff that we're not supposed to know yet. I've stayed away from everything except for only thing I know is one of the rewards.
Which is?
I'm not telling you.
You don't want to give a little snippet or anything?
Well, to be fair, this reward, I'd have to give a lot of backstory to describe it because it's a reference to a 1.0 item or a 1.23 item. So it's funny that a 5-year anniversary event is referencing stuff that happened that they like to pretend never happened in the first place. Hey, remember that game we destroyed? The one we shut down to remake for this one? Yeah, let's talk about that this year.
Yeah, we can talk about it in post-show. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we can talk about it in post-show. All right, but with that, I don't think there's too much else for us to discuss this week. Again, the only reason we didn't want to do Eorzea this week is because Pagos is...
Nobody's doing Pagos.
All the lore is apparently like steeped in the level 35 quest. Well, not the lore, the actual story. Most of it is present in the level 35 quest as opposed to most of the prior quests. So we really want to get as close to having at least that information on hand. It's available. People have talked about it a little bit, but I haven't seen much. And I'm hoping to make some progress getting towards 35 and seeing it for myself at the very least. So we just want that information to be part of Eorzea. So I already asked Ethis. I don't know if he's replied to me yet. If he's good for next week, okay. But I'll let you know. Sound okay, Sly?
Sounds pretty good.
All right. Well, then on that note, I think we can wrap things up. I got raid in like 30 minutes, so I got plenty of time.
Yeah, plenty of time to spare.
Yeah. So let's wrap things up. We got to do our usual Sly reminder. This is a monthly Steel Series giveaway for July, which now obviously is going deep into August because that's just when it ends at this point. That's available. If you go to the YouTube videos, don't forget, it's under all the YouTube videos. There's a giveaway link there. So click it, and if there's still time to enter, you can enter, and then I'll pull the winner. I think it pulls it sometime this week. So for the July one, that'll end, and then next week we'll have the August one under there, and there'll be that option. On top of that, we have our Patreon sponsors. Sly.
Yes, we do.
Of course. So we have people who... Oh, I got to get rid of Tyrone real quick. Hold on. There we go. Well, he's on the media slide.
No. Just put him up one more time just so, the thumbnail.
No, we don't need it. It's not relevant right now, Sly.
It's not relevant, but you want to keep him as a thumbnail, don't you?
Okay, so here's the thing. Luckily, there's technology for YouTube that lets me use him in the thumbnail. So
there you go.
I could immortalize him as part of the thumbnail. Okay. Oh, it ended? Then it ended today. That giveaway must have just ended. So you know what? On the YouTube side of things, that'll be available. The August one will be available on the YouTube video for this one, and the July one's done. So I gotta pull a winner for that. I haven't gotten the email yet that it ended, so I'll just have to go manually do that myself. So thank you, Linkster. So the August one will be available soon. No, we don't need Tyrone. We don't need Tyrone, Sly. We need to thank our Patreon sponsors, what we need to do. Okay? All right. Of course, we have our Patron of Light, who takes very good screenshots, Khuja Cross on Jenova. So, I don't know how to make my thank yous more exciting when I've done them so many weeks in a row. So how do I do it, Sly? How would you make a thank you more exciting?
Hey, Khuja Cross! Thank you so much for being our Patron of Light!
You forgot the...
Combat hashtag demonetize!
You sound like the Count. You sound like the Count. 1, 2... All right, Sly, that's... Here's across. Thanks for being the Patron of Light and for putting up with that. So that's that's thanks. That's fantastic. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I did. I know I did. So gonna move on to thanking the other sponsors now, Sly, and we're not gonna thank them all like Tyrone.
No, we're not.
We're not gonna do it. It's just not gonna happen.
No.
So thank you to our standard sponsors. We have Crimson and Talvia Swift on Coral. We have Just One Fox, Shadowlink on Tonberry, Dom, Asuka Wake from Jenova, Lemillion of Midgard Sarma, Serren the Avalanche family on Malboro, Johnny Yatu, Kifkin the Great Eagles on Exodus, Dark Graver, Katayoshi, Katayoshi from Khuja, Skia Symphonia from Ragnarok, Rah Xephon from Exodus, Rylanator, Westaur the Purple Warrior, Eadric Redsteele on Exodus, Lexxie Valentine, Mantaru the Rivivus FC from Zodiark, Sour Cream and Chives from Jenova, Rynoet Chikara, Goetia Valefar of Siren, Hersh vs. Faerie, Phoenix Down FC on Goblin, and Serren from Zodiark. We also have our elite sponsors. We have Kane Azuki on the Jenova server, Eorzea on Coral, Sathal, Sarah Frost from Behemoth, Diablo, Holy Tabasco, Red Thorn Asura, Kurnai Oni, Askin Hawk from Shiva, Crash015, Mustang, the Serenity FC on Ultras, Kat Kazuma, Cyril Kira on Cactar, Ignis Farragon from Diablos, Valestra of Fanfret, Not Quarters from Excalibur, Krovos Moonscar, Private Mikey, Spike, Nani Kirasami, Rudy Rudiger, Tim Colossus, Killer Hackman, Rawl Jr., and Kiltastic Jones. So thank you to our sponsors. Everyone. I was half expecting a Tyrone thing. I was like, I was like, don't do it. Don't do it.
One's enough. One's enough.
Don't do it. Okay, good. Yeah. All right. I don't think I can handle that right now. So on that note, I think we're ready to do our sign-offs. I think we can talk about ourselves a little bit now, Sly. So why don't you tell the people where they can find you at?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Sly, aka Greyfox, on Twitter at Slythefox, on YouTube, youtube.com/The Velvet Room. Same old. Playing too many damn games for me to keep up with. I'm finishing Shining Resonance Refrain tomorrow. We've been kind of gearing up towards Generations Ultimate at the end of the month. So if you have Generations on 3DS and you want to join us, I'll be playing on Friday for a subathon and on Sunday as well, because we always do it for 3D Sunday until it comes out on Twitch. So yeah, all the Manhunt, all the games, all the time. And Haps, where can they find you?
You can find me, Mr. Abby127, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and playing Opera Omnia a little bit more. I'm just kind of going through some games for the rest of August while I wait for September. September is probably going to be the busier month for me with Dragon Quest XI. Probably, we're going to have 4.4. Spyro Remastered is actually something I'm very much looking forward to. Spider-Man. So it's going to be pretty busy. And looking forward to that. Until then, we have Dauntless updates this month. Warframe, I think, actually just put a little booster pack on Twitch Prime. I think it was like 50 platinum, a 7-day affinity boost, and a 7-day. I think there was another 7-day boost in there. I think maybe it was like a 70-day, whatever it's called, boost. What's the credit? 7-day. I think a credit boost. Or something like that for like just
there's a credit boost, an affinity boost, and resource boost.
Yeah, I think that's on Twitch Prime right now. I'm pretty sure. I just saw someone post it on Discord, so probably hop back on that. And we're also it shouldn't be too long, not too long before we actually go to Venus for that as well. So looking forward to a lot of the Warframe stuff that's coming up as well. Please look forward to it. Hi. Okay. On that note, we're going to move on over into a short post show. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week. We'll see you next week, where the plan is Eorzea, regardless of the Pagos status, and I'll let Ethis be the judge of what we're actually going to have on that quiz itself. But please look forward to it. And from the weeks after that, we'll have plenty of stuff to talk about between all the events that are going on in Final Fantasy XIV. So, thank you. We'll see you next week. And until then, take care.
See you next week.